What has
Correct.
been the sort of response you've gotten to the game, and how has that evolved since when did you go to PAX? Was that 2023?
We went to 23, 24.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Gamescom in Singapore and PAX in Boston.
Okay, you've done a bunch of them then.
And
Okay, okay.
yeah, so yeah, we've been to a few of them.
But how has the
The res-
yeah, how's the response sort of evolved as the game has progressed?
um, the response has been like so. The first time we went to the PAX, we had a very basic build. It was a demo. It didn't really showcase any of the story
Mhm.
component of the game at all. It only showcased the puzzles, so we
Right.
could see what people understood about the puzzles and stuff like that. And so we had to hold people's hand a lot on the very first PAX. I remember we're going, oh, okay, so you go up there and you'll see this, and that will tell you what to do here. And we were giving him so much information, and we're like, well, this is not the right. We're doing something wrong here. If people can't work out what they're supposed to do,
Right. Right.
then we're doing something wrong.
Right. You're not going to
And
be
then
there when they're
because there
playing the game at
wasn't,
home.
yeah, that's right. Well, I can't hold their hand at home. So then the other part about it was there was not really that much story involved. So people weren't getting emotionally attached to the game or
Mhm,
anything like
mhm.
that either. They thought it was a nice puzzle game, but they didn't probably not more than that.
Right.
And then the year after at PAX, we brought the same demo back, but we changed a whole heap of stuff to make it way more intuitive to
Mhm.
people. One thing that we did notice, if you're making a game, if you're a game developer watching this, we did notice. So we had the super easiest puzzle in our demo that
Mhm.
was literally like one screen. We're talking about screens again. One screen out of the first frame that you land in,
Mhm.
and 90% of people would run past that easy puzzle and go and do the hard puzzles. And the reason was that all these people were testing out the mechanics of running and jumping and doing stuff before they even thought about what they
Right.
had to do in the game. And so they had to get like literally about 5 screens before they were ready to think about what they were going to do in the game.
Mhm.
So that's why when you played the demo or the full game at AVCon, you would have noticed you arrive on a boat, you walk a couple of screens, you get a little cutscene, and then you got like a little bit more walking around, and then eventually you stumble across your first puzzle.
Mhm.
And that
Mhm.
was because of our first demo that most people kind of came across and they weren't even interested in doing a puzzle. And then they get to a hard puzzle and go, well, what am I doing now? I'm like, well, you've missed the easy puzzle. And they're like, oh, I didn't even know there were puzzles up there. I'm like,
Right.
so yeah, so we're learning a lot about how people interact and how people think has been a massive part of how our games evolved.
Right.
And then recently, we've just been bringing the full game to conventions.
Mhm.
It's not quite finished, but it's very close. Um, and getting some feedback on how people are playing that. So,
Mhm.
and basically, we stand there and don't even talk to people anymore.
Mhm.
We do if they want to talk to us, but it's not like we don't have to explain game mechanics or anything. They just sit down and go for it, you know.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
So it has evolved. Like the response, I guess, has been really positive, but we've spent a lot of time watching people and seeing what people do and
Right.
some weird and wacky things that people do, and we're like, I didn't even think to do that. Doesn't even seem like a thing. Like, why
I
would
would
you
like to
do
hear some
that?
examples of that if you're gonna need to hit on hand.
Okay, so in the spike, there's a spike room, right? And you go in there and you walk through the spikes, the memory spikes
Mm.
puzzle,
Mm. Mm.
and then you get to the other end, and there's literally one box here
Mm.
and the power's coming from the wall, and you've got to kick that box over, and then it will connect to another box and then go out of the puzzle room.
Mm.
Now, a couple of people walked in and walked around the boxes and went to the other box and kicked it towards the box that had the power
Ah.
and then broke the puzzle because the puzzles aren't resettable. that they could get into such a position that they had to basically restart the game again because they've just ruined my whole mechanic. And I'm just like, why did you do that? And so it's just little things like that I didn't even think were possible, and they do it. And I'm like, I mean, this is 400 people playing the game, and 2 people do that. So you're like, okay, so there is like a very small percentage of people that are going to make this broken.
Yes.
And
yes,
I've got to account for those people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you want to make it so that puzzle can't be broken, or would you prefer to like implement some sort of puzzle reset mechanic where if you want to go back to the default state of that puzzle, you could do so?
I did think about doing that, but there's something in the game that we've been working to is the rules of the game. So a big thing that we've been doing, and it's made it easier and easier as we've been getting through the game, is that we go, well, what did we do in World 1? We have to stick true to that. We can't have it that you can kick this box now, and then in World 3 you can't kick that type of box.
Right.
Then we've just made our rules confusing, and no one understands our game anymore because everything's changed. And so all we had to do, literally in that situation, it was a bad puzzle design, and we just had to redesign the puzzle to make it so the people could use it properly.
Right.
So that wasn't a big deal. And the whole idea of the game was always around the rule that you couldn't break the puzzles. Because if we implemented a thing where you could reset the puzzle by doing like pressing a button, then all of a sudden people, would they know that that's a thing unless we teach them that? And then secondly to that, would they just go around resetting all their levels because they were getting frustrated? They might be not thinking about a puzzle as much, like they might just go, oh, I'll just reset these puzzles. I'll just reset this. And then that just takes away from the game. So everything you add to a game has another negative effect to how you want the game to be played. So you have to be careful about just changing it for one particular moment. Sometimes it might be easier just to fix that particular puzzle or whatever. So yeah.
When you talked about players going around and breaking things, I am the kind of person who will do that in a lot of games. Like if I have, as a prime example, if a game gives me like a double jump and an air dash and maybe some attacks that will slightly raise my height, I'm going to try to find a way to get out of the map. I'm going to try to find a way to get onto something I shouldn't be getting onto. And a lot of the time you can. And a lot of the time, I think it's neat to find things like that. I've said this with other devs. I think the idea of...
Oh my God. I am never adding jump to a game ever again in my life. That's how I feel about jump. We had so many problems with the jump mechanic because people would just hold down the jump button, hold down the sprint button, and then they jump and do all kinds of silly things that would break the game. So the way around this that we've had, I don't know if it's right or wrong, you tell me. But now you jump and you have to release the jump button before you can jump again. So you can spam it over and over again if you want to keep jumping.
Sure.
But most people will give up and go, well, that's just annoying. I'm not going to keep spamming the jump button. Where when they can hold the jump button, they will hold it just for the fun of it.
Oh, yeah, no. So you definitely should be if to press it. Yeah.
So you have to depress it before you can jump again. And that's fixed a lot of problems in the game. Having that where you can't just continually re-jump. I think testing a lot of things, having lots of the kick animation, when you kick in the game, there's like a small 0.5 of a second before you gain control of the character again. So every time you kick, he stops and does his kick. We did have it where you could move and kick, but it didn't seem like it's a cozy game to start with. So why do you want to be able to run and kick at the same time? Because then you had all these slide kicks and all these weird things going on, and it didn't make sense to the gameplay as well. So we just removed that and made it so you could, if you kick, that's your decision, but then you kick whilst you're in a position. So
Right.
I don't think there's as many things. We've been putting up fences like around the map to stop people getting into areas that aren't designed to be got into. So there's lots of things like that have come around, and I don't know, like I had a weird guy at AVCon actually that there was a timer in the game. So it was the full game, but there was meant to be a timer in the game. So after about 20 minutes, it would come up with a screen thing and say, "Hey, you've finished playing. Thanks for playing. Next person," kind of thing. Move along. And that timer broke for some reason. I don't know what I did, and it wouldn't work in the game. And so this guy got through the whole first level. He got through the intro and then the first level. And then he hit the rocket, and the rocket blew up the world too. And he went to that bit, and then there was a part where there was a collider there, so you couldn't go through. And I hadn't coded that incorrectly.
Right.
But in all fairness, if my timer had worked, you would never have got that far into the game. So it was a kind of double-edged sword there. Anyway, he got to that bit, and that bit was still blocking him from entering level 2. And then he's like, well, why didn't you have like an end screen? I said, like, it's broken. It was broken. I'm sorry. And he's like, well, why did you have that collider there? I can't do the next thing. And he kind of got quite frustrated and annoyed with me because I took the game to a convention and there was a bug in it that he found. And he was like, well... he went mad on me for a few things. He was quite aggressive. I don't know if it was a passionate aggression or what kind of aggression it was. It was very I don't know. It was strange. It was it's quite in your face. Like, oh, this shouldn't do this. This should do this. And he was quite angry, but it was almost a passionate angry. So it was. I wasn't upset at all, but I was.
Well, if somebody's going to play the
take
game,
it back.
Like how long was he at the demo for? If he finished the entire first level, like you had the 20 minutes.
Oh, he was about an hour and a half.
Oh,
played.
Yeah, he clearly liked the game if he's that far into it.
But he was kind of so passionate. He was almost getting aggressive at me. It was like, oh my dude, settle. It'll be fixed by the time we release this stuff. He's like, and no, that's just how it is, I guess. But yeah.